Hi boys and girls, it's Mrs. Horan here. I'm coming to you today with a math lesson, and we're gonna do a couple things for this lesson. We are going to sing 5 green and speckled frogs, and then we're gonna think about the number 5, and we're gonna think about breaking that number down and seeing different ways we can get to 5. So you will need a piece of paper and a pencil for the second part of our lesson today, or something to write with, okay? All right, so you may have heard this song before, and it's maybe a song you heard in preschool or even in kindergarten, but it's really a math song, and it's a subtraction song, because it's about 5 frogs and them each taking a turn to jump into the pool, which is like the pond. So it's takeaway, it's subtraction, okay? We start with 5 frogs, and then we gradually take away 1 until we get down to, well, we'll have to see. Okay, here we go. You can use your hand to pretend these are our frogs, okay? 5 green and speckled frogs sat on a speckled log, eating the most delicious bugs, yum, yum. 1 jumped into the pool where it was nice and cool. Now there are 4 green speckled frogs, ribbit, ribbit. 4 green and speckled frogs sat on a speckled log, eating the most delicious bugs, yum, yum. 1 jumped into the pool where it was nice and cool. Now there are 3 green speckled frogs, ribbit, ribbit. 3 green and speckled frogs sat on a speckled log, eating the most delicious bugs, yum, yum. 1 jumped into the pool where it was nice and cool. Now there are 2 green speckled frogs, ribbit, ribbit. 2 green and speckled frogs sat on a speckled log, eating the most delicious bugs, yum, yum. 1 jumped into the pool where it was nice and cool. Now there is 1 green speckled frog, ribbit, ribbit. 1 green and speckled frog sat on a speckled log, eating the most delicious bugs, yum, yum. She jumped into the pool where it was nice and cool. Now there are no green speckled frogs, ribbit, ribbit. And what is that number, boys and girls? For none? That's right, it's 0, 0. So we just did takeaway, didn't we? We had 5. We took 1 away, we got 4, another 1, 3, 2, 1, 0. Good work. Okay, so now I am gonna find that number that we started with. This is the number we started with. This is the number of frogs that began, okay? What number is that? 5, okay. Some of you, this might be your age. Some of you, this was the age that you were the last time you had, before you had a birthday, okay? And so today what we're gonna do is we're gonna think about this number. Not just what it is, but we're gonna think about ways that we could get to this number, ways we could show this number. And we're gonna call that decomposing a number. So when I think of this word decompose, which is like a really big word, and it actually can be like a science word, when something decomposes, it breaks down. So for instance, if you had an apple and you finished eating your apple and you put your core on the ground, which you could, because that wouldn't be littering, because an apple will decompose. It will turn back into the ground. It will turn back into the dirt. So we call that breaking it down. So what we're gonna do today is we're gonna look at the number 5, and then we're gonna break it down, okay? So we're gonna look, and then we're gonna break it down. Are you ready? Okay, it's a really cool activity. We've done this before in Mrs. Horan's class, and I'm thinking the other kindergartens too. You've done this as well. All right, so what I have here is I have a piece of paper, and this time Mrs. Horan just folded it once, and then I folded it again. So I want you to do that. So you have 4 rectangles on your paper, okay? You want to have 4 rectangles or 4 boxes, because we're gonna try to think of 4 ways to come up with the number 5. And you can write your number 5 right in the middle of your paper. Remember, it's across and down, back up and around, Number 5's belly is nice and round, okay? There's another way to make a 5. It's like this. Skinny neck, belly fat. Number 5 wears a hat. Those are both correct ways to form that number, okay? As long as you're not starting here and going up. Okay, so we need to come up with 4 different ways to get to 5. Okay, that's the challenge. They can't be the same. All right, so how could we show 5? Oh, one way we could show 5 reminds me of sometimes when Mrs. Horan does a survey on the note, sometimes when I hear your answers, I think of tally marks. And in your other classes, Mrs. Rogers and Miss Medeiros' classes, you may have used tally marks before too. So we could show 5 with tally marks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you go ahead and make those 5 tally marks. Remember, with a 5, we close the gate on the 5th one, okay? So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's a way to show 5. Okay, good. All right, let's see if we can think of another way to show 5. What if we used a 10 frame, okay? What if we drew a 10 frame, okay? So it's a rectangle, and then we want to make sure it has 10 squares in it. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Okay, there's our 10 frame. Well, if we're trying to show 5, and how many squares do we need to show something in? 5, right. So we could do circles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, you could do check marks, you could do X's, you could color in 5 of those squares of the 10 frame. As long as you show 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It matches, doesn't it? It matches. Good work. Good work. So far we've used tally marks and a 10 frame to show 5. Let's see if we can think of an addition number sentence. Let's see if we can think of 2 numbers that come together to make up 5. So 2 numbers that equal 5. And our fingers are a great way to use that, okay? So let's say if I started with, let's start with a 2. A 2. What would we have to add to 2 to get to 5? Right, 3. 2, 3, 4, 5. So 2 plus 3 equals 5. I'm going to write that number sentence, okay? And then you can write it too. 2 plus 3 equals 5. Okay, write that down. Good. All right, we have one more way to show 5. Let's see if we can think about subtraction like with our frogs, okay? Subtraction is take away. So this time we would start with 5, okay? Or we would start with a number that's higher than 5 and see if we can get to 5. So what about if we had 6 frogs? How many would we need to take away to get to 5? Yes, just 1. So if we added a frog to our 5 frogs, and then we took that frog away, that frog jumped in the pool, that would get us to 1. I mean, that would get us to 5. Good, okay, let's write that down. 6 minus 1 equals 5. Nice job. So friends, what we just did is we broke down the number 5. We decomposed that number and we showed it in 4 different ways. We showed it in tally marks, we showed it in a 10 frame, we showed it in an addition, a plus number sentence, and a subtraction number sentence. Okay, here comes your job. If you did this with Mrs. Horan, awesome. Remember my happy face. I'm proud of you and I'm happy that you did your work. Now I want you to turn your paper over and see if you can do it yourself. You could do a number 5 or you could do a different number. If you feel confident and comfortable, you could do 10. If you're not quite sure, You could do 3 or 4, or you could even do 5 again. But what I'd like for you to do now is turn your paper over and use the back of it and pick another number or the same number and show it in 4 different ways. Break it down, okay? All right, boys and girls, really nice job today. I hope you have fun doing your math, okay? And I'll see you soon. Bye, everybody.